Hello Stampers, welcome to Make a Card Monday. Today for our card we're going to be making this fun little baseball thank you card. My husband and I received baseball tickets last week to go see the Cardinals baseball, and I wanted to send a thank you card to the person that gave us the tickets. So I thought I would bring you along with me as I made this card. Now, Eclipse cards are very popular right now, so I wanted to somehow incorporate that into my card. So I actually made the baseball pop up. That's what an Eclipse card is that something is popped up from the card. So if you can see here on the edge, when I turn this sideways, the baseball is actually up higher than the rest of the card. So in order to make this card, I use lots of framelits. Okay, so let's take a look at all the framelits I did use. So in order to make the baseball out of the circle, I use the Layering Circles framelits. Love this set of framelits because the circles are in all different sizes, and there's also scallop circles in lots of sizes. So it's really great for layering. Love it. In fact, there are 16 framelits in this set, so it's really good. So we're going to use the biggest of the circles, okay? And what we're going to do, you're going to start off with a piece of white cardstock that measures 5 1/4 by 4, okay? And from the top left-hand corner of that, you're going to use your biggest circle, and you're just going to cut the circle out of there, okay? So that you end up with this, and this is actually your baseball, okay? Now, in order to get this to pop up, you need to do layers behind it, okay? So I know a lot of times when people do Eclipse cards, they do black behind it, but I wanted the red to be prominent in this one. So I also went and cut out 4 big red circles using the exact same framelit, okay? And the first thing we're going to do is we're just going to use our snail adhesive, and we are going to layer these circles all on top of each other. Okay, and one more because there's 4 layers there. So we're just going to do like that, okay? Then I'm going to set that one aside. Now, to come back to this and to our baseball, I needed some kind of stitching to make my baseball, okay? And I looked, and we used to have a punch that was this shape, but it's retired, so I wanted to use something that we currently have. And I happened to be looking through my large letter framelits, and I noticed that we have a framelit that looks like this, okay? That looks a little like a V. I'm not real sure what it is supposed to be. It looks a lot like a greater than, less than sign. But I thought that's going to be perfect to use to make our stitches for our baseball. So what I did was I used this, and I cut out 6 of them out of real red cardstock. Okay, and that's going to be my stitches. So what I want to do is I want to take my white piece, the circle that I cut out, and I'm going to use some Tombow liquid glue, and I just need a little bit of glue on it, and I'm going to start the first one off a little bit, and I want to adhere these in a row, but kind of with a slight turn to it, okay? It's a little hard to explain, but you know the seams of a baseball kind of curve. So that's what I'm trying to do with these V's. And I noticed when I was doing my last one, because I used the Tombow glue, it stayed wet so that I could move my stitches around a little bit once I got them all on, till they looked exactly the way I wanted them to look. Okay, there's that like that. So it's kind of got a curve to it. Okay, so I'm going to set that aside for a minute so they dry. Then what I want to do is I want to go back to my white piece, that's my card front, and I want to do the U. So the U, what I am using is the framelits that are carried over to the new catalog. These were actually one of the celebration items, and they're the Celebrate U thinlits. Okay, and in here they have the U. Okay, so that's what we're going to use, and we're just going to cut it out of the bottom piece like that, so it looks just like this. Okay, so that is my card front piece. Okay, so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a piece of real red cardstock that measures 8 1/2 by 5 1/2. just going to fold it in half, and I'm going to use my bone folder to make sure my crease is nice and crisp, okay? Then I'm going to take my piece that's my card front, and I'm going to go ahead and adhere it on the card. Okay, so when I put it down like that, then everything shows through red, okay? Now, when I cut out the word you, I had, well, now I don't know where it is. The middle of, there it is, the middle of my circle from my U also cuts out, but I want to put that back in because I want it to look more like the word you than just a big open spot there. So we're going to adhere that like that, okay? Now I'm ready to do the thank. So again, I'm using the thank you stamp that's from the Daisy Delight, and I only want the word thank to show or to stamp. So I'm going to use my real red marker, okay? And you know on our markers there's two ends. This end over here has a real thin line. That's the fine point end. That's for if you're journaling, writing, coloring little teeny spaces. And then the other end has a thicker, and that is our brush end. So I'm going to take our brush end, I'm going to lay it on its side, and I'm going to color over the word thank. So just be careful that that's all you're covering is that word. Okay? And once you've done that, you need to bring your stamp to your mouth and you need to huff, because that re-moistens it so that when you are ready to stamp it, it stays all inked up nicely and stamps really nicely just like that. Okay? Now we're ready to put the rest of our baseballs together. Okay, so we've already got our 4 circles all adhered together. So I'm just going to put a little bit more adhesive on the back of this, and it is going to go right into the hole, right like that. Okay, now I'm going to bring my baseball back that I put my stitches on, turn it over with my snips, and I am going to just trim along the edge here, just like that. Okay, then I'm going to put some adhesive on the back of it. And I'm going to adhere that right down on top of the layers like that. And there you go. That is how you do the Eclipse baseball card, so that, like I said, the baseball actually stands up above the rest of it. So I hope you are inspired by this and try your own Eclipse card. If you do, I'd love to see them. But thanks for stopping by.